Good day everyone and welcome to Forex Trading Coach. Firstly, I would like to thank everybody for the messages about the book that's gonna come out now anytime soon, and for your congratulations messages, the ones that also purchased the book for the pre-launch. I really appreciate it. But what the main focus is of the book is mainly the cover. I'm sure everybody was enticed about the cover. The cover of the book with a pregnant woman and the dark clouds at the back is that we will face basically a depression. The ones that we experience now in South Africa with the downgradings and all of those things, that is a little like a small drop in the ocean. There's still more pain to come, and it will be a gigantic one. It will be a deep recession that will last for about 5 years. It can lead to 10 years, and it will be painful on a lot of us. I also think that South Africa will suffer a lot. I expect about the 70% unemployment in South Africa, and I will give my reasons now. The main problem is that it is not just Europe that's suffering. It's basically everyone. For example, China is the one that basically will collapse. And then you have Japan. Then you have Europe. And then you have the United States. All of them has the same problem, and it will be an atomic bomb. Now, the first one that will collapse will be China. Now, China carried the world for the last 20 years. What global growth was growing because of China. Economies like South Africa was growing because of China. Australia was booming. New Zealand was booming. And China was the whole engine behind it. Now, you see what's happening now to China is that they had quite a large chunk of baby boomers in the 1965. Now, when baby boomers start, the children get born, and then it takes a child about 20 years for him, the average child take normally 20 years for him to start to work. Now, in that era, when he's 20, then he starts to work. China had a massive industrial policy, and there was about nearly close to 700 million youth. And they actually produced basically everything and all that. Now, that lasted for 20 years. Now, obviously, if you add 20 and you add another 20 years, then it means basically the baby boomers of 1965 is basically 40 now. And now, in 2017, they are basically now 50. So then it means the baby boomers are not spending anymore. And that is what I basically illustrate in the book. Now, when they reach 50, it normally the spending decreases and the economy is slowing down as well. Now, when the economy slows down, that is where we will get recessions and basically a depression. Now, as I said earlier, the whole entire economy in the world, or the global economy, depends on China to push through. Now that China is not growing anymore, the whole world will collapse. Now, what I illustrated in the book, I basically pointed out, I had a research based on the United States and on China. Now, I will show you now how I predict America's recession in 2008. And I will also in the formula, also in the book, there's a formula that I created for you to use in future to see when will be the next recession or when will be the next baby boom, not baby boom, but economy boom. Now, Japan has basically a depression. They actually go through a depression. It's been in a coma since the 90s. Now, this is the whole story about Japan. In 1945, that is where Japan experienced a baby boom. There was approximately 3 children per woman in Japan, right? And as I said now, at the age of 20, that is where the average person is starting to work and spend because he needs to start his life. Now, if you add 20 to 1945, it gives you 19 1965. Now China's economy, Japan, sorry, let me just write this, if you don't get confused. So Japan's economy started to boom in the 1970s. Now that boom was until 1990. Now this is my first formula, which is more in detail in the book. Now, how can you see that the economy will bust? I took now the baby boom, which was 1945, and I plus it now with 45. Now 45 I use in a constant. This is for boom, and this is what I say, it's a bust. Now I use 45 as a constant. Normally the humans start to spend less at the age of 45. Now, if you put that in perspective, it gets to 1990. 1990, Japan's economy did not grow ever since, until this day. Now, the reasoning being, Japan did not produce efficient amount of children. Any economy must have at least 2 to 3 children for consistent growth. If the amount of children are not there, the economy is game over. Now the main problem is basically Japan. Sorry, it's basically China. But what I want to show you is basically the same. About the United States. The USA had a baby boom in 1960. I add now again 20. It comes to 1980. 1980, the US had the most progressive boom. It started basically in 1983 under Ronald Reagan. The economy boomed robustly, and it actually lasts for a very long duration. Now, same story. 1960, and you plus it by 45, you get 2005. And what happened in 2008? The recession. My formula in the book will last you generations, so that you can spot when a next recession or depression will happen. I also in the book, I explain that the US economy never actually recovered. And then we will face a massive depression now in 2017. The depression, what I think that was going to last, is going to last for about 5 to 10 years. But the United States never actually recovered. The recovery of the United States is mainly because of a lot of printing money. So I think in 2017, where I think by September 2017, and you can please share this video, that is where the depression will start. The first one will be China. Second will be Europe. Europe is basically a sitting duck. It's already dead. The next one, last blow, will be the United States. Now when China go, this will push South Africa into a very deep and long depression. This will be other emerging markets, or as they say, EMs. Now what's going to happen to South Africa? China is literally buying between 40 to 50% of our minerals, which is now gold, iron ore, coal, those type of things. If China goes, there will be 1 million jobs absolutely gone. Now when 1 million jobs are gone, it filters right through to Checkers, Pick n Pay, Edcon, the banks, galore. Even houses will get lost. Even your job, who watching this video, you can also lose your job. I will not be surprised if this will be the statistic in South Africa that 7 out of 10 humans will lose their job. So it's up to you to safeguard yourself and purchase this book so that you can make profit out of this depression. It happens once in a lifetime. It's up to you. It will be a sale of a lifetime. It will be all over. Houses will be cheap. Cars will be cheap. But that is if you have the money. You can make the money in the depression. Only thing that you need to know is how this whole thing will happen, and it's all illustrated in my book. In my book, I also say who will be the next superpower. The depression will take up to 5 to 10 years. After that, a new country will move. And as I said, it will not come from Asia, nor it will come from the West, but it will come from somewhere, which is in the book. You have to purchase the book, save yourself, safeguard your family, and purchase this book. There's a pre-orders. All the information is basically on our Facebook page. If you need information, you can inbox Georgia, which is also on Facebook, on Forex Trading Coach, or what most clients do, they inbox me directly. You're more than welcome to do it. Get the book, safeguard yourself. The depression is coming. I thank you.